The Asus ROG GT-AX6000. Did I get that right? Yeah, I did. Asus, please work on your names. I didn't get this crazy router just for its gaming features. Matter of fact, I didn't get it for the gaming features at all. So why did I get this thing? Well, let's jump in, get it unboxed, and I'll tell you all about it. Let's get into it. Like I was saying, I didn't get the AX6000 for its gaming features. However, when talking about the gaming features of this router, that is pretty much where my first and probably only real con for this thing is. And the thing is, the gaming features for this router and what Asus advertises about it, they're mostly third-party apps. And not only that, most of these third-party apps require you to send your data to them in order for them to provide whatever service they're trying to provide, which I get. I do understand that. However, it is just weird to me how it comes pre-installed on the router. Like, I don't know why these apps couldn't just be, on the website for me to download if I actually want them or not, or something like that. I don't know. I just don't really like having third-party apps that require my data to go elsewhere pre-installed on the router. It makes no sense. Real quick, that wasn't the only con I had about the about this router. The one of the one of the really biggest pet peeves I have about this is actually the setup process. The setup is supposed to be quick, but in actuality, it was a little bit frustrating because it's supposed to work through the browser. I could not get this router set up through the browser. I had to actually use the phone app in order to set it up, which when I actually got the app installed, it was easy, it was quick, and all that good stuff. And I was able to set up my Wi-Fi and all that. But it's kind of frustrating that I had to install the app in order to actually get access to the router and actually get things set up, that it didn't work correctly through the browser. The browser just would not let me get to the login for whatever reason. I am just not sure. Since we are talking about third-party apps, this is like the third time I've tried to record this. I just thought I'd walk you guys through the dashboard. Now, there's not too many areas in this software that is that useful for me, only because I'm not doing this whole router for the gaming part. So a lot of these areas is dedicated to gaming, like the game acceleration and the game radar, open NAT and all this other stuff. But like I said, these are a lot of third-party services that require these areas. So I just don't really do much in them at all. Right here on the dashboard, though, there's still a lot of useful information, no matter whether you're doing games or not. Right at the top here, you have your wireless states, 2.45 gigahertz, let you know those are working. The WAN IP, I used a browser plugin on my browser here to allow me to modify the CSS and hide my IP. That way I don't have to do a bunch of weird editing and try to edit it out so you guys don't like dox me or some crazy shit. So yeah, I'm hiding it here. Of course, the most important thing of all for any router configuration, knowing that you're connected to the internet. You can see it right here. If you're not connected, it's going to tell you that. Mode is wireless router. Clients, 16 clients online. Just is of course very important. If you very familiar with your network, you know exactly how many devices that you're supposed to have connected and disconnected. If you see this number move, you may want to check on it, figure out what's connected to your network that you don't know. Another thing about this whole wireless router thing, for the GT-AX6000, if you have older Asus routers, depending on their models, you can use those routers as access points attached to this guy. So that's a kind of a key thing there. So for some people, that's very useful, especially if you actually do have older Asus routers. Don't throw them away or anything like that, or throw them into the closet. You can actually still use those and combine them to make a bigger, more stable network for you, if that's something that you need. I will say right now that this router is excellent in terms of range and speed all on its own. So you probably have to have a pretty decent sized home to need another access point here like that. Or maybe your router is in the basement of your home. Then at that point, yeah, you probably do need an access point or two or three to make sure your signal stays strong. Down here, the network traffic, you, of course, exactly as it says, network traffic, know exactly what's going on and how much data you're using. Ping and ping deviation is more of a gamer or a LAN thing or online thing, online gaming thing, but still, some people it'll be useful for. Game radar, again, more gaming stuff if that's what's your thing. And of course, RGB, because RGB makes all things better. Maybe. But there it is. You notice that my cam has frozen. I'm having some issues with my camera. So yes, I am now frozen on the screen, and I'm just going to remain frozen until I somehow unfreeze myself in just a little bit here. But that's pretty much the dashboard area. And for me, though, where I spend the bulk of my time is down the advanced settings. However, before I go to the advanced settings, if you're someone who runs a VPN, click right here. This is where you can set up your VPN stuff. Even if, you can even technically set this to run through private internet access. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I know it has to deal with OpenVPN, so that's something you may want to look into if you're someone who likes to have all your traffic run through a VPN service. Then by all means, go for it. I am not that kind of person. I don't need the VPN to run. For that matter, I needed to only protect certain devices on my network, and only the VPN only needs to be on when I'm doing certain things for online, pretty much. Coming down to the network map. So the network map is also a very useful area, only because I can click right here on view list, and it gives me a breakdown of all my devices that's on my network and exactly how they're connected to my network. In addition to this, having this nice breakdown here to see all my devices, this also alerted me to an issue I was having with my MacBook Air constantly changing IPs whenever it connected to the Wi-Fi. And the way I solve this is by going down into the WAN section, and I'm checking to make sure my IP is not showing, and gonna edit it out wherever I see it. But thankfully not here. So was it WAN? No, no. This is in the WAN is for when you're gonna do your port forwarding. So you're gonna spend a lot of time here as well, because this is like one of the most common things people do on their routers. But let's go to LAN. There we go, and go to DHCP server. And the way I solve that is by giving my MacBook Air a static internal network IP that will not change. So this will make it so that when it comes to connecting to my NAS, which is what I needed my MacBook Air to do, I would not have to worry about it being blocked, because every IP that connects to my NAS, now my Asus NAS, is on the firewall. I whitelisted on the firewall directly on the NAS. So if IPs are changing, that's a problem, because then that means that they're going to be disconnected or blocked from accessing my NAS. So this particular device had that issue. I gave it a static IP. That solved it right there. These little things are things that I didn't really have the ability to do with the Xfinity modem Wi-Fi combo, the X1, and it's just easy to do here on a dedicated router, like the GT-AX6000. So I was able to go ahead and get that set up here. Guest network is right here, and obviously it is turned off. I don't allow any sort of guest network anything. Maybe at some point in the future, I will turn it on. It's no big deal. But if you don't need anyone else to really have access to your network, guests or anything like that, then it should just be turned off. If you have family that's coming over, turn it on, and then when they leave, turn it off. All in all, there's some great settings here, a lot of flexibility, a lot of things you can do here. Pretty much your average everyday user has everything they need on this router and then some. If you're an advanced user, you still have more things you can do on this router as well. But of course, if you need anything more than what this provides, you're gonna have to bump up the price and grab something a little bit bigger. Now, it's one of the main reasons I did get the router It's for the Wi-Fi. I was having a lot of Wi-Fi issues, specifically when it came to my Ring cameras and the 2.4 gigahertz line, and also with my devices as well. The Xfinity X1 modem does have 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, but the problem is, well, the range is not that good and it is not that stable. I had this issue before with combo modem Wi-Fi devices, and they have not seemed to change much over the years. So I got with the Xfinity X1 modem, and yeah, my Wi-Fi is just not stable. I got the ROG, I'm gonna stop saying the whole name. I got the AX6000, and it is far better, and I have complete control over my Wi-Fi now. For me, the way I have it set up is I went ahead and split out and have two separate Wi-Fi connections in the home, one for 2.4 gigahertz, one for 5 gigahertz. I can set my Ring cameras on my 2.4 gigahertz, and finally they stop dropping connections, and they're pretty much rock solid all the time. I was having a lot of issues with them just dropping connection all the time, and it was because my Xfinity modem kept putting them on 5 gigahertz or putting them on a weak 2.4 gigahertz signal where they just couldn't keep connection whatsoever to save their life. Now it's been quite a while, a few months actually, when I've had this thing, and I've had zero problems with my Ring cameras, and it's such a great thing. By the way, if you're wondering, I have the Ring cameras 2020 version, which is the reason why I needed a strong 2.4 gigahertz signal. The newer Ring cameras, they actually do 5 gigahertz, so you guys, your mileage may vary. Not only that, but now my 5 gigahertz is also very good too. I get 800 megabits down around the house without any issue. Really nice. And also the wired connection is good too. And speaking of that, on this modem, I have two 2.5 gigahertz ports, and that was a really big selling point for me because most of the routers that I was looking at online had only one 2.5 gig port, or they had multiple multi-gigabit ports, but they included 10 gig ports, which made the cost of the router go way up. And I was not looking for a very expensive router. I wasn't looking for a very cheap one, but I needed one that had at least two 2.5 gig ports so I can keep my multi-gigabit network going. This one has it. I was able to run a line from my Xfinity X1 modem after putting it in bridge mode, and then run a line from the router to the switch, which I have a multi-gigabit switch from TrendNet, and it all worked the first time without me having to do any work whatsoever on the router side. It just worked as soon as I plugged everything in, and that is such an awesome thing. So now I have a fast network. Even though my NAS could be faster, it is still fast, but it could stand to be better. So I'm very, very happy with it, even though technically I'm still stuck with 40 megabits upload for reasons that I'm just not sure. And that is about it as far as my thoughts on the Asus ROG GT-AX6000. It is a great router. It is not cheap. It is about $300. So this is a router that is not over the top. It's not as expensive as it could be, but it's not something that is budget either. This is a router for if you really need a router for a specific case, or if you need a router that is very flexible, but not, I can say not expensive as it can be, then this is the one for you. I was able to, run my 2.5 gig network, have a lot of control over my Wi-Fi, and do all kind of things with it. You can have good security options with this. I have most of my network is IP blocked now via this router, and also my private internet access VPN. Links for that down below if you're looking for that. There's a lot of things you can do with this router if you need it. If you need a basic router and you don't need all the bells and whistles and all the other kind of stuff, then you don't need to spend $300 on a router. But for those who do, this is definitely the one. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review, and if you did, then jump on down to the comment box, let me know, and of course hit that like button and subscribe for more videos from me all the time. You have a good one.